What's up, everyone? First of all, check out the new background. No more phantom hands. I do listen. Second of all, welcome to another favorites video. I'm talking about my monthly favorites for February, including makeup, clothing, podcasts, anything else? Maybe other things. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But we got a lot to talk about either way, so let's go ahead and dive in. First up, let's cover some makeup, specifically some long-term favorites, and I actually go back and forth about whether I should talk about these because these are the things that are listed in every description box. I mentioned them before in multiple favorites videos beforehand, but they're kind of the definitions of favorites, and yet I don't want to bore you guys by just continuing to talk about them. So I'm going to try and do a very abbreviated favorites with these so that you know I like them, but you also know we have other ground to cover. First up, foundation. I love the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. Mine is in the shade Soft Beige. Beautiful, lit from within, medium to full coverage, and it's less than $5, maybe $5. Next up, let's talk concealer. I have still been loving my Beauty Bakery Instabake 3-in-1 concealer. Mine is the shade 15 Mad Batter. Previously, I'd been using this and my NARS matte, like ultra full coverage matte concealer, whatever it's called. Didn't have enough moisture in it for me, so I've converted back entirely to this one from Beauty Bakery, and it's got great coverage. It's got hydration for my under eye area, and I panicked a little bit because I used it so much that this great little point, it's not a doe foot, it's like a pointed applicator, which is great for getting things in your under eye area, but it was going dry, and I thought, oh no, I'm running out of this product. Not like I can't buy more, but it just hadn't lasted for all that long. I removed the stopper and whoo boy, there is a ton of product in here. So it kind of makes the precision applicator a little less precise, but worth it for the amount of product I have found left in this guy. Next up, let's talk brows. I'm loving my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Gel in the shade Medium Brown. Talked about this recently in a video where I discuss makeup techniques that I either hadn't heard of or had previously hated and have since come to love. So what I did with this guy, I used to use it with my CoverGirl Ultrafine Brow Pencil. Nothing against that brow pencil, really love it. I just ran out of it. And instead of buying a new one, I was compelled to pick up an angled brush and get a little bit of this gel on here or run that through my brows to create the structure, the outline that I like. And in using it with the gel, it not only adds that structure, but it also fills and sets and fluffs my brows, adds pigment because it's a tinted, like a nicely pigmented gel. And yeah, I've just been founding this is founding? What tense is it even? What? I found that all I need is this guy and an angled brush, and that's what I've been loving lately. And then last up for long time loves is my mascara, and this is a really long time love. My L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara. I've been using this for well over a year. Not this one exactly, obviously. Gone through many of these. I will say, however, L'Oreal just sent me a new mascara that they've launched, and because I have such a high bar for this, I kind of want to try it because we're all a little weird like that, right? We have the products we love and we're like, but can we do it better? No, we probably can't, but it won't stop us from trying. So I have this I just opened, and then I have a spare of this one, so maybe in between the two, I will try that new one from L'Oreal, but honestly, this is a high bar. I'm not sure. Okay, old favorites are done. How did I do? Hopefully I didn't spend too much time talking about those. Moving on to some new stuff, although not necessarily new launch kind of stuff, but new to my makeup rotation. In February, I uploaded a drugstore Valentine's Day tutorial, and in looking for a drugstore alternative to my longtime love, Huda Beauty Tantour, I reached for my Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in the shade Sunset Striptease, and it's wonderful because it is cool. It's not so cool that you need another bronzer to warm the rest of your face up with when you use it. It's not so orange that you need to tone it down with something cool, and has a hint of shimmer in it. Not so shimmery that you look like a disco ball, but just to liven up your complexion, give it a little bit of glow, make you look healthy and dewy. And I love using that with my Scott Barnes number 66. Is that 66 or it has to be 66 brush. Basically, it's this angled, tapered brush. Is that tapered? It's mostly just angled. So it's angled. It's perfect for getting in the hollows of your cheeks, and yet it has a little bit of width to it so that you can really buff and blend that up, around, over, however it is you like to buff your face products. It's also a great width for getting around the hairline, and it's not so wide that it's going to kind of get everywhere. And I have the whole Scott Barnes set. I do have plans to do an entire rundown of his brush collection and kind of share my favorites and those I just haven't kind of picked up all that much. So no, that is coming. I'm not sure if I do it in addition to a review of all the other products that I've gotten from him. Let me know if you have opinions on that down in the comments, but I've really been loving this brush in particular, specifically with this bronzer. Ooh, and while we're on the topic of Scott Barnes, I have also really been loving his Cheek Chic palette. So all of his palettes come with this sleeve on the outside. They're all super gorgeous and different patterns, actually. With his name here, it's in a sleek, slim cardboard packaging with a mirror inside, and this is by far my favorite makeup cosmetic product I have purchased from him. It's a blush palette. You get 6 matte blush shades and everything from super warm, super cool, and then 2 shimmery highlighter slash blush over sprays. They're a little bit tinted, so they will change the pigment of some of these blushes if you blend it with them. But the reason why I love this is because it's completely customizable. Like, you can totally change up the blush you do day to day to match whatever your eye look is or your lips are, whatever your thing is for that day. You can totally customize your blush and only ever reach for this one palette because you have just about everything in here you need to do it. Not just in terms of tone and color, but in terms of finish too, because I love a good shimmery blush, and this allows you to transform all of these matte shades into something that has a little bit of glow to it, which is exactly what I've done here today. I used a combo of the shade Minimalist up here. This often is a shade that I will use to tone down some of these more pigmented shades for my skin tone. So I used Minimalist with Sweet Cheeks right here, and then I mixed both of those two with this must be glowy because this just says glowy and showy here on the end. So I think it's this glowy shade down here. Mixed them all together, and that is what I'm wearing from the apples all the way to the back, and oh, so good. Ooh, I got a little ahead of myself though because I totally skipped over my setting powders. Yes, I said setting powders plural. I can't believe it either. But one will come as no surprise because I made a video this month about my favorite illuminating powders, and this was among them, the NYX High Glass Finishing Powder in the shade Light. And this, of all those that I talked about, this has just been the one that I've reached for. Probably this and my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish are almost neck and neck, but there's something about this one from NYX that just really warms everything up. Ironically, Warm Rose is cooler, and so I have to be a little bit more careful with the looks that I pair that with, whereas this is more of an everyday, like, candlelit look when you apply it. It's so, so beautiful. Then the other, but I will apply that all over my face, going very lightly, if even at all, in my under eye area, because it can emphasize some texture or just, the unevenness in your under eye area. What I've been using for my under eyes, and I am not typically an under eye setter, but is this Catrice Prime and Fine Luminizing Powder Waterproof in the shade Radiant Beige. And despite the name, so I initially bought this. I said this in that earlier video. I got this because I thought it was going to be an illuminating setting powder. There is nothing illuminating about this. It's like very matte, slightly pigmented, but in trying, like, I didn't want to waste it, so I just went ahead and tried it in the eye area, and I love it. It does such a good job at giving lightweight coverage, but without making your under eyes looking dry. What was I just saying there? Without making your eyes look dry and crepey. That, I believe, is where I was going. So yeah, for the girl who previously didn't wear any setting powders, she now has 2 in her daily routine. What's next? Oh, eyes. I really haven't found myself loving any one shadow or palette in particular. I guess in the beginning of February, I was still very, very into my Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette, and not that I don't still reach for it occasionally, but I did find myself falling into a neutrals rut. There are some colorful shades in that palette, but I wanted something even bolder. So what I did to combat that was reach for some colorful liners. I bought some last year from ColourPop, both pencil and liquid, and they have been total routine changers for me. Just really boosted my creativity in terms of what I've been doing with my eye makeup. I uploaded a couple to Instagram, and then I will have a tutorial for this up on my Instagram eventually, but I just have a ton of their pencils. These are their cream gel liners, and they have some really fun neon shades. I think they're still available. I imagine they have to be, but I have some neon shades. I have just some more bright red, purple, just about every shade under the sun. They're super affordable. And then I also have, again, their liquids. These are called just their ColourPop liquid liners. And together, between, changing these up on my upper lash line for a liner or in my waterline for a fun pop of color, these have just really helped me liven up my daily routine. Ooh, but the one thing I do want to say though about about the cream gel liners. I don't know, these are older, like less than a year I want to say, but they have been sitting out for a while. And so I have found they've gotten a little bit dry, I think. Maybe it's the neon formula, but like for the one that I used today, it was a little bit hard to get a wing shape because it was on the drier side, it was pulling and tugging. I had to go in with an angled liner pencil to kind of help smooth that out, which then diluted the pigment. And it took a little bit of working with. It's not the worst thing that could ever happen. If you want an alternative that is a surefire, highly pigmented alternative, is the Suva Beauty UV cake liners. I forget what they're called, but it's like, it'll be the first thing that pops up if you Google it, or I'll link it down in the description box below. Same exact thing, but more of a cake formula. So when you mix liquid with it, it is, you control the amount of pigmentation, but at the same time, it's a little bit more complicated than just grabbing a pencil. So an alternative, but I did want to share that because even though I ultimately liked the look I came up with today, I did notice that for some people who aren't totally comfortable with a wing, might find it frustrating, the amount of kind of pulling and tugging that you have to do in the eye area to get this to lay exactly right. What's next? Oh, for lips, I've really been liking the MAC Patent Paint Lip Lacquers. I did a video about them earlier in the month. They sent me a couple shades from the collection. And what I find I've really been loving, like you can apply them full pigmentation, get that high shine lacquer to them. But what I have found more often than not, especially when I'm in a hurry, what I find myself doing is taking a shade, applying a light layer on the lips, and then using my finger to blend it out for sort of a soft focus effect, because those really stain the lips. And so if I don't want to have to worry about reapplying throughout the day, kind of keeping that high shine patent sheen in place all day, I will just let it stain my lips and then it's on. You really don't have to worry about doing anything else to your lips throughout the day. Otherwise, I have also found that I really like, again, MAC gave this to me. This is their matte lipstick in the shade Yash. And I have been doing a lot of colorful looks naturally. And so to balance that out, I will either just wear this on my lips, or I'll take like a tone that is like a little bit more pigmented pink than my natural lip shade. And then I will go in with this over top in the center of my lips, blending it out to kind of tone it down so that it's not too much for whatever I have going on my eyes. This is just one of those like great nudie shades for my skin tone. So it's super easy to reach for. Okay, now let's switch from makeup to fashion. I've really been into basics for the past couple months, like jeans and a t-shirt kind of basics. The jeans that I've been wearing are Good American. They're like my go-to brand now, but the styles that I have worn, I don't know that they're still in stock. I bought them not last fall, but the fall before that. And I don't know if this is a regular thing for them, but they don't keep, at least the styles that I bought anyway, around for all that long. Like shortly after I've purchased all of these, they have gone out of stock. So I don't know if it's the churn in style, the churn in material, but it's a shame because I'm the kind of person that, especially with jeans and bottoms, the second I find something that fits in all the right places, like narrow enough in the waist, wide enough in the hips, etc., I want to buy it and then keep buying it. So lesson learned, I need to stock up. Anywho, I will try and link to the closest thing to the styles that I've been loving. They're like high-waisted, cinched in denim around the waist. It's like stretchier and stuff, closer to the hip area. And then for shirts, I mean, just basics. I've probably worn this shirt / another one in a different color in all the videos that I posted this month. They're from Marseille Fashion, and now is the time if you've ever wanted to buy things from them. I'm an affiliate and I've made a couple videos about them in the past, talking about the styles that I like, the ones that I don't, but now's the time to buy because they've been having a 75% sale on the site for like the whole new year, I think, which makes me a little nervous that they're going away or doing something different, because there's so many pieces from there that I like, but specifically their shirts, because they're a nice thick material. They're not too sheer. The white is a little sheer, but the gray that I have, the black that I have, I actually bought, I think I have 3 of both shades now because I don't want to be without them. I don't want them to Good American me, you know what I mean? Anywho, I like them not just for the fabric, they're a nice length and they are very stretchy. So if you like to bundle, like knot your shirts in any which way to kind of cinch them in, accentuate your waist, just create some structure for your outfit, these are amazing shirts to do that with because the material is so soft and stretchy, but they won't stretch out. Like the second that you wash them, they shrink right back up to their original shape. So I really love those. I mean, you can go check out other reviews that I have from Marseille if you're curious in buying more while the sale is still on, although there is no end date to the sale, so shop at your leisure, I guess. But I also really love the maxi dresses as spring and summer are approaching. The maxi skirts, pencil skirts that they have, really love those. But if there's one thing you get, I highly recommend is the shirts because they're such essential everyday staples. Now, let's move on to podcasts. So first up, I have been loving a podcast called Something Was Wrong. I think there are 4 seasons. The one that's currently airing is the 4th season. Each one is about a different topic or subject matter, and the host will basically cover a story and then tell you like the psychology behind the story. So like last season was about gaslighting, and the first half of the episode would be talking about the symptoms of gaslighting, the traits of a gaslighter, and then the second part of the episode would be talking about this real life situation with interviews from the people involved about this gaslighting situation. This season is about cults and includes interviews from survivors of Jonestown. So super fascinating. The other podcast I've been loving is called The Dream, and the first season is about MLMs. It covers like where they originated, how they've developed culturally and legally in the US. The second season is more about like the natural movement. That might not be the right word, but basically kind of covering how things for health and wellness, I guess is the word the host used, but how things for wellness are marketed to us and how much of it is real, how much of it is fear-mongering, and kind of like the first season, how it all legally became this way. Like it's just very interesting background and is really great perspective, I think, as a consumer. So those are the 2 podcasts I've really been loving. I would love to hear what you've been listening to down below, because who doesn't want more podcasts to listen to, you know? Last up, let's talk music. I feel like I'm very self-conscious about letting people see my listen history, because I can listen to the same cluster of songs on repeat, like more than I think is probably healthy. Like at some point you should want to find new music, right? For whatever reason, I don't. But I can't work to songs that I either know the lyrics to, or just know I like to like move and dance and tap your toes to. So, and I can't listen to podcasts either, because I'd like to focus on what's going on. And I work from home alone, and I need like ambient noise sometimes when I work. So on Spotify, it just happens to be where I listen to my music. There is a playlist I found called Peaceful Piano, and that has kind of been the ticket for me. Like it's a really mellow, chill sounding piano. It's not really a melody I can follow in my head, but it provides this really serene and peaceful audio ambiance for me. So in case you find that you are the same way, where you can't listen to podcasts, you can't listen to songs you know, but you just need something that's mellow and ever present, Peaceful Piano on Spotify is really nice. Otherwise, I've gotten back into Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. If you haven't seen the show, it's hilarious, it's witty, it's raunchy, and it's a musical. So the songs are nice to listen to even outside of the show. I've also fallen back into like late 90s, early 2000s hits. Again, I probably should want to find new music, but it's nostalgia. I don't know, gets you every time. Oh, speaking of nostalgia, another playlist that I stumbled upon on Spotify that I really like is I think it's called Punk Powerhouse. And again, it's all of those like nostalgic songs that at least I listened to when I was in high school. I've really been liking that too, especially for working out. So those are all of my loves for the month of February. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. Be sure and check out these videos if you want to see more like this. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.